It's almost time for Zhongli's rerun, and so, seeing as he has become one of my most used characters, being able to fit in so many of my team comps, I thought I'd make a guide just in time for his rerun. And so, in this video, I will go over Zhongli's best weapons, best artifacts, best teams, and just best everything so you can make this Geo Archon your next favorite character. And so, just before we get to the video, if you do enjoy this video, leave a like, comment, subscribe, helps out a ton. So let's start with Zhongli's weapons. So he's a polearm user, which is great news as there are many choices for him in polearm impact. And so let's start with his first and best weapon, the Staff of Homa. So the Staff of Homa is an amazing polearm that pretty much any polearm user in the game can use due to its amazing stat line. So it offers crit damage, which is just amazing as it will allow Zhongli to deal a ton of damage with his burst, which is one of the big reasons why he is so good. The other obviously being his shield. This helps out a lot as well as it will offer a 20% increase in HP at base rank and increase your attack based on 0.8% of his health, which is really nice. And remember, your shield does scale off of Zhongli's max HP, so the Staff of Homa is perfect for him. And so if you did manage to get this, then definitely use it. It is amazing. So you may be wondering, what about the Vortex Vanquisher, the weapon that will be released alongside Zhongli in the upcoming rerun banner? Well, it isn't that good sadly. So it offers attack percentage for its main stat, which by itself it's not bad, but obviously not as good as crit damage, and then the passive will further increase your shield strength by 20%, which is pretty good, but then will further increase your attack for every hit you land on the enemy, maxing at 5 stacks and increasing by 100% if you are protected by a shield. So firstly, the problem with this is solely suited for a more main DPS playstyle in that you switch to him and use them for the majority of the battle, which is cool if you're planning to play him as the main DPS. But again, the Staff of Homa just offers much better stats to this to even consider this, and also seeing as we will be mainly playing him as a sort of burst support in that we switch to him, use his abilities and switch off, we won't be able to make use of this passive, and so it ultimately falls short. And so I wouldn't recommend this weapon if you were thinking of getting it. Unless you're thinking of playing him as a main DPS, it can be alright. Now there's also the Primordial Jade Wing Spear, which has a similar sort of passive that again, unless you're playing him as a main DPS, you won't be able to make full use of, and so I wouldn't really recommend this weapon either. Although it is, in my opinion, a bit better than the Vortex due to its nice crit rate stat. Now moving on, we also have the Skyward Spine. So the Skyward Spine is a nice polearm that offers NG recharge, which on Zhongli is okay. I think he still has a low cost on his burst, so it isn't that good on him compared to some other characters, but still is okay. The passive does offer some nice stat boosts like crit rate and normal attack speed, but again falls off due to the problem of tying the passive to attacking the enemy, which we won't be doing much of in this support build, so it's a no. Now as far as the 4 stars go, most of them do okay on Zhongli. Notable ones include the Deathmatch, which has a very nice crit rate stat, can be useful. The Favonius Lance is also good, which offers NG recharge, allowing you to get out that burst much faster, and also the prototype Starglitter, again offering NG recharge. However, the overall best one I found would be the Catch. Yep, the fishing weapon one, which I still haven't got to max refinement due to my hate for the fishing minigame, but man, what a weapon this is. Gives us all we need with NG recharge, which is not bad, a passive which increases the damage and crit rate of our burst, which as I mentioned before is something we'll be doing a lot of due to the low cost of it. So this is very nice, and if I'm not running the Staff of Homa, I'm usually running this. Now the last weapon I want to mention is the 3-star weapon, the Black Tassel. So usually I don't recommend using any 3 stars as they usually are trash. However, this one can be decent due to its HP stat. So as I mentioned before, Zhongli scales off of HP for not only his shield but also his abilities, and so this can actually help him quite a bit, especially in the shield department. And so if you are looking to make him a very focused shield support character, then you could try this. However, do note his damage won't be as good, so do be wary of that. But now onto his artifacts. So with artifacts we have two main choices, and this will depend on whether you want him to be played as a shield bot or a burst support. And so if you're mainly going to be playing him or using him for his shields, then run a 4-piece Tenacity of Millelith. This will be the best option for him due to an HP increase as well as the attack buff the skill will give. And so if you are thinking of putting him as a shield support, then definitely get this. Now as far as the actual artifacts go, going for HP across the board will maximize your shield strength. You could also change his circlet to be a crit rate if you want a bit more on the damage department, but overall it's up to you. Now the other artifact set I recommend, and the one I personally use, is a 2-piece Noblesse Oblige and 2-piece Archaic Petra. So the set is when you're building him as a burst support, as it aims to maximize his damage potential. Now for the actual artifacts themselves, for this set you're going to be focusing on damage, and so running a attack percentage cup, geo damage goblet, and crit rate crit damage circlet, depending on which one you need more of. As far as the substats go for this, going for crit rate, crit damage, attack percentage, and HP will be the best bet, as remember HP will not only increase your shield strength but the damage of your abilities, and so getting rolls on HP is actually pretty worth it. And so with that, let's move on to his constellations. So Zhongli's constellations are okay, they definitely aren't the best, but there are some notable ones. His C1 will allow 2 pillars at a time, not bad, increases damage by a bit. His C2 is also quite nice, it will grant a shield every time you use his burst. His C4 will increase the AoE and petrification time of his burst, which is also really good, especially when dealing with multiple mobs. And now finally his C6 will regenerate the character's HP depending on the damage inflicted upon them when they have a shield on them. And so all in all, not the best constellations, and so if you've already got him C0, that's probably enough unless you really like him and really want him to be maxed out. I wouldn't really recommend going for any constellations. But now his talents will be his burst, then skill, and finally his normal attack. And so let's move on to his teams. So in terms of his best teams, he is one of the more flexible characters in the game, being able to fit in a multitude of teams due to his powerful shield. And so pretty much if you need a shielder, you can just throw him into any comp you have right now. I've been loving him in national teams, especially with Raiden, and so when I'm facing a hard enemy, one that I think I'll need a shield for, I just chuck him in on the team and he usually just fits in quite fine. Now as for teams that really highlight him as a burst support, I quite like running a Zhongli, Albedo, Xinling and Bennett comp. This comp will absolutely shred enemies while having very good defensive capabilities with both Zhongli's shield and Bennett's heal. The other great thing about this comp is it plays somewhat like a national team, with you switching out characters to use their bursts and abilities and just keep rotating out. And with both the increased damage from the Geo Resonance and Pyro Resonance, the damage you can hit is extremely good. Now other great teams with Zhongli include Geo Mono teams with characters like Ito. Now sadly I didn't manage to get Ito, so I can't really speak on this, but from what I've heard from others, he is extremely good on them. But now overall, Zhongli is an amazing support that is the best at what he does, and so if you are planning on summoning for him or haven't quite yet decided, I definitely recommend you do, and wish you all the best on your summons. But now if you already have him, then I hope you use this build to maximize his potential and make him your next best support. And now if you did enjoy this video, leave a like, comment, subscribe, and as always, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.